It's time for the Jim and Terry Show.
Don't see you. I hear you getting your phone ready, I think. We are recording the Jim and Terry Show, coming to you from the Hobbit Hole Studio and...
the comfy couch in downtown Pefferlaw.
And why is it that we're Skyping this week?
Apparently, and I haven't looked outside. It's funny. You think I would have done that. We're supposed to be in the middle of a big major storm.
We're not in the middle of it at this point. It stopped in the early hours. Not that this isn't the early hours, but this is later than the early hours.
What's it look like out there? Did you look?
Yeah, we've got about I'd say about 8 centimeters.
All right. Is there freezing rain? Was it freezing rain as well? Because
I didn't go outside to check whether it was crunchy.
So I didn't look out yet. I just got myself ready, made myself beautiful so we could be on TV like this.
Very nice of you to shave. I try to hide low behind my microphone.
Actually, I didn't shave. It just that, the resolution on our phones is not well.
Isn't that a good thing?
I haven't shaved for 2 days.
Oh, I thought you were putting on a filter on your phone. So many celebrities have those filters. So
No.
Did you have time to get yourself a coffee?
Oh, yeah. Chin, chin. Cheers.
Cheers. Clink, clink.
Yeah, good too. It tastes good today.
Wow. Did you upgrade your coffee?
I didn't know. I just, I think I got nabob or something like that. It just tastes good.
If it just tastes good, then probably it's your frame of mind this morning.
No, it's tasted pretty good. Morning coffees you have to do a real butcher job to wreck a morning coffee.
I have had a butcher job of morning coffees in the past, and it is not worth doing that. Worth having a good cup of coffee to start your day.
Well, I know the restaurants I go to are all good coffee, but it's probably because they're thinning it out, right? I don't like real strong coffee, so I end up liking it.
No, good for you. At least you know your likes and dislikes.
Yes. So how are
you? Speaking of likes and dislikes, let's get right on into one of the topics that I sent you. Movies. Favorite movies. And it doesn't even have to be something you plan to say or share, but maybe you have one. What's your number one? Or just one from a list, one that comes to mind.
One from a list is called Melancholia. Melancholia. It's got the woman star is famous, but I can't remember her name. And Kiefer Sutherland is
really
in it, but he plays like a lower back character within it, and it's all about two planets that are crashing. Earth and another planet's crashing into it, or is it really? And that's what the movie's about. Some people just can't face the fact it's happening, and others can. So psychological and what happens to us knowing the end possibly could be coming. And a lot of the cinematography is sometimes some of the scenes are in super, super, super slow motion, and it just creates this feel. It's a real good movie called Melancholia. I highly recommend it.
Now, you mentioned Kiefer Sutherland, and since I haven't seen him in anything recently, is it an older film?
Yes, I would think. I mean, it's gone through its cycle anyways. It's not brand new. You'd have to hunt for it. You might find it on YouTube. By the way, Kiefer Sutherland is in a movie right now called Designated Survivor. It's a series.
Yes,
movie.
That's been out for a few years now.
It's actually excellent.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think he plays someone from the presidential entourage who is the only one to survive some kind of cataclysm. So he's the designated person.
Becomes president.
He becomes president, having wiped out everybody else.
And you can see the political battle within it and everything else. And there's a lot of realism within that. The backstabbing, the power hungry, and on it goes. People acting not on behalf really of the country, but just their political.
Do movies reflect what we think, or do they create something for us to think about? Do they reflect, is art, are we imitating art, or is art reality for us? We watch
Jeepers,
movies.
I think it's a little bit of both. Like
Take the safe ground, Mr. Moderate.
no, but I mean, with all
I like
honesty,
your answer.
with all honesty, I do think that. It you sent me a thing about Power. Just I was kind of watching it a bit before we connected, and part of being the best or the biggest star, it has to do with power too. You can make or break somebody. We've heard of the people having a meltdown on set, and wanting everybody fired, or they got enough power to put the fear of God in absolutely everybody that's around them. So I think it's a little bit of both. I think, How about you? What's your favorite movie?
Well, I have favorites for a number of reasons. For horror comedy, not that that's a category. I do like it.
Isn't it?
It is a film produced in New Zealand called What We Do in the Shadows, and it's spun off into a Netflix TV series. I wasn't really a fan of the series. I like the movie. And just about every character in that movie, it's a few years old now, like it's getting long in the tooth, as they say. All of them have gone on to become stars in Hollywood feature films as well. So,
wow.
Yeah, it's kind of an interesting launching point. New Zealand film? What? Well, unless you're into the Hobbit world, if you're into that, then Tolkien's Hobbit Village in New Zealand is apparently quite the thing to see. So there's a film based in New Zealand. What We Do in the Shadows is a vampire pastiche, which means it's a veneer of all kinds of cultural, literary, artistic references to vampires depicted in previous black and white early Hollywood horror films, classic books, all kinds of references in it. And it's really well done. And we laugh regularly. We've seen it a dozen times. We have a copy of it whenever we're feeling a little malaise or melancholic. We put that on, and it's guaranteed laugh. Sort of like going to Friends, the TV episodes.
Yeah. Okay. Now you say you go to it, you put it on.
Yeah.
Is that the series or the movie all over?
The movie.
Yeah. Isn't that amazing how some movies can touch you like that? Like when I was mentioning Melancholia, I know it's one of my sons really like it as well. I was surprised that anybody else had seen it because I'd never heard of it. But I'd watched it probably 3 times, and I'd watch it again if it popped up somewhere. I'd probably watch it all over again. And it's not full of action, it's just full of reaction, I guess.
If it comes on any one of the services that we stream movies from these days, let me know.
I will.
Look it up.
Netflix, so I doubt if it's coming back.
Well, you never know. It could be on a Disney or a Prime or something else, a Crave or HBO or something. You never know.
Yeah, Netflix should do that every now and then, flashback or encore or something. Have a encore week where some of these things that we're on for a while, and, they warn you that they're taking movies off.
Yes. Why not warn us that they're putting them on?
Yeah, why not warn us and say, coming back for 1 week only,
That's right.
You.
And Jim, that means you, because we're listening on your phone and we watch what you're watching.
Well, that's probably true.
That's another scary thought. Okay, sticking with the film categories. Ones that really impressed me, so much so that I did a lot of projects based on some of these films. Anything with Charlton Heston in it of a religious variety, especially Ben-Hur and I'm going to say the 10 Commandments, those two.
Well, yeah, I mean, the 10 Commandments, that used to be watched. When did they used to put that on? At Christmas, I think it was, the 10 Commandments. They would always put that on at Christmas.
It was a Christmas one, yeah.
Yeah, it's funny because it's not Christmas, but I think it might have been our Jewish friends counter to Christmas, because it was the 10 Commandments.
The Hanukkah.
Prior to Christ, right? And Hanukkah. So, but my family would watch that religiously, if it came on. It was so long and so...
They watched it religiously. You and your dad jokes.
Well, that and Wizard of Oz, the original Wizard of Oz.
Which was aired on an annual basis as well.
Yeah, that's right. The color version, I guess.
Yes, the colorized version. Yeah,
No, I think, did we see, was it first released black and white?
I think so.
Yeah, it was. So probably watched it when it was first black and white.
Well, I think it was the first colorized film using whatever that color processing was, because the opening was black and white. The hurricane, the
Yes,
Dorothy,
yes.
and then once they landed in the land of Oz, it was the color.
Yeah, yeah, amazing, eh?
Yeah, it was a shock.
What an amazing movie. Yeah, it was pretty good. I mean, we can, we realize now, how corny and everything was, but
No,
that was the
don't
early
say it's
days.
corny. I thought the monkeys terrified me.
Yes, that was horrifying. Yeah.
And your little dog, too.
Oh, you do a very good Wicked Witch of the West, my friend. Let's switch to other ones. I named the religious ones because Charlton Heston was a hero of my childhood, probably being a John Wayne type tough guy, even though he was playing Jewish characters in the films, Ben-Hur and Ten Commandments. I came to not like him very much later in life. And that's because he became a spokesperson and I think president of the National Rifle Association. And his most famous words are echoing still. I can see him with a rifle suspended above his head, held out sideways. Not from my dead hands.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Prying the guns, opposing gun registration efforts, opposing gun legislation, restrictions, all of that stuff. And I thought, wow, you live in your castle. You got a gated entranceway. You got security cameras. But from your dead hands, they're going to pry this thing? Really? It was a case of how the mighty have fallen from the days of holding the... I can imagine Moses holding the tablets up and I give you the 9... What happened to commandments? Or there's a typo in that, Lord. Oh, smash them and start again. All kinds of humor to come out of the Ten Commandments and that whole scene. And yet we're convinced, or at least a large portion of the population, perhaps yourself included, that these stories, these narratives are in fact the Word, the inspired Word of God.
Well, I do believe in the inspired Word of God. Yes, I do. I don't necessarily believe in the person playing God or Moses.
Yeah, well, Charlton Heston fell from grace, in my opinion. But
yeah, but in other people's opinion, and not mine, he it might have even rose him higher in his respect. I don't understand it. I mean, now they're giving out little pins of whatever that gun is that's killed all these people for the last 5
yes,
matches.
the AR-15.
AR-15, your favorite guy, Ron DeSantis there.
Yes.
He's got a pin on his
yeah, so does Marjorie Taylor Greene and Matt Gaetz and Lauren Boebert and all the ne'er-do-wells of the Republican Party.
Well, I don't know where they're getting at with all that. That just seems about as stupid as you can possibly get to me.
Well, you're a pacifist.
Well, I guess I'm a pacifist, but the other thing is I think that, I mean, number one, who made the gun badges? I guess it was the NRA.
I'm guessing it could be the GOP fundraising.
Well, maybe, but that's what it's saying. Give your funds to me.
Yes.
That's what it's saying. I will fight for you. This is the way the world has gone now. It's just gone stupid.
Well, your father used to say, it's the chemtrails, man. It's the chemtrails.
Well, maybe dear old dad, God rest his wonderful soul, was right.
Yes, it's quite possible. I have no evidence. I haven't driven down that rabbit hole very much, the chemtrail thing. But that to me goes along with all the other conspiracy theory type things. Flat earthers might go in the chemtrail camp too, along with the tinfoil pyramid hats.
Maybe, I don't know.
Maybe. Speaking of films, I have another one. 2001, A Space Odyssey, Stanley Kubrick.
Yeah, the slowest moving movie in the world. Yet I've seen it like 5 times.
And by frame, you're not talking about frame by frame, the slow motion.
Yeah, yeah.
Do your computer voice.
Just get there.
You're breathing in the helmet. I had an asthma attack listening to those sounds. The same as Sandra Bullock in Gravity as she's, spinning out of control and her breath is going, and I thought, I'm going to pass out if she doesn't end the scene soon.
Yeah, I know, end the scene soon. But
okay, getting back to 2001, you saw it. Do you agree that it's one of those classic things that you would?
It is a classic movie. I mean, now you can see the. I mean, this was before.
Don't tell me they use strings.
Yeah, this is before we had all the special effects we have, but that takes a lot of guts to be a director saying, no, we're going to take 10 minutes for this thing to dock. Are you kidding me? Like, nobody sits through movies like that. But so that took a lot of guts to say, I'm sorry, no, this is how it's going to be.
He's quite a visionary.
Well, yeah, and because we know it's like that. Like, I mean, sometimes, I mean, I think the quickest they've ever docked to an opening thing is like maybe 6 hours or something, isn't it? Something like that. Lots of times it's 24 hours before when that rocket goes up in the air and it finally gets around to docking with the space station, because you're traveling at 18,000 miles an hour. You know what I mean?
Did we really know that at the time? I don't think I was aware of the speed of these things as they're approaching.
I didn't think I did at the time of 2001. No.
But now you can quote the speed of a orbital low Earth orbit.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Gravity was, I think, the best film that showed the relative speeds of things as they whip around you and perforate structures and blow things up.
Yeah, I mean, astronauts will rip it apart, but they'll also tell you it was a good movie.
Yes.
Like, if you really sat and told them, they'd say, no, there's no way on this earth.
Now, you have a good ear as a musician, but I think you have a good ear for voices. Can you do the computer?
I don't.
The HAL 2000?
What was his name again?
HAL?
No, but the other guy.
Dave, the astronaut Dave.
Oh, that was spooky. It kind of wasn't Dave. What you doing, Dave? I'm sorry, Dave. It was a mistake. Dave?
It's almost like you know the script. Very good.
Don't do it, Dave. Dave.
Now, what's the difference between Hal, and Alexa?
Well, really nothing now. But I mean, this is one thing about movies. Even Star Trek. I mean, every time I pick up a phone, I keep thinking, this is my communicator. It tells me everything I want in an absolute second. I can call anybody in the world at any time, real time. And so the same with things that we saw, like talking computers. That was before there was talking computers. And now, yes,
now your computer won't be quiet.
Yeah. Well, it really bugs me when it pings in my pocket and I get in my car and it tells me how long it is for me to travel to you or something. I go, how do you know I'm going there? You don't know I'm going there.
And how do you know how fast I'm driving?
It did know I was going there.
Ooh, scary stuff. All right. You stay safe in that seat. We're going to wrap up this one on movies that we have enjoyed. We covered a little bit from religious genres to stars to sci-fi. And maybe we'll segue into things that go boom on orbital mounts.
Okay, that sounds exciting.
Right. I'm surprised we didn't cover that last time we got together. So that will be our segue into all things SpaceX to the moon and beyond.
I can hardly wait.
Oh, good. Grab onto your seat. Here we go. See you in a bit. Bye-bye.